having a wonderful day. Today we'll be looking at 1 Samuel 4 verses 1 through 11. Last week we saw Samuel hearing from God for the very first time. And now this week we get to see that he was established as a prophet of God. All the people of all the tribes of Israel knew that Samuel was a prophet, because when he says what God tells him to say, then God's words always come to pass. So that's how they knew that God was speaking through him and he was a prophet. Scripture takes us right from us seeing that God had established him and that he was his voice right into a battle. So we see that God had, because remember, it told us last week that to hear God speak during those times was rare. So now we get to hearing God speak again. He's establishing Samuel as his prophet. Then we go right into a battle. But doesn't that kind of look like the patterns of some of our lives? You know, we finally feel like we're getting on track. We feel like we're getting it. We're doing what it is that God is calling us to do. We can hear him speaking to us. And then Satan jumps right in. And then we end up in a battle. And sometimes it's not just a battle. Sometimes we find ourselves at war. Now, as bad as it seems, it could be worse. It's hard for Satan to come and attack and we end up in a battle, but it could be worse if we find ourselves battling God. And even worse than that, having God battling us. So as we continue to read through chapter 4, we get to take a closer look at the battle itself. We see that the Israelites, they entered into the battle with the Philistines. And this particular battle was probably the Israelites responding to an invasion by the Philistines. And then we see in this very first battle that we hear about that the Israelites didn't fare out too well. It tells us that they lost, had about 4,000 men killed, and then they went back to their tents. So then when they get back to camp, to where camp was for them, and they were camped in Ebenezer, it tells us that the leaders, the elders, started questioning, like, why did God let us be defeated by the Philistines? So their solution was, we need to go and get the ark of God, and we need to bring it with us when we go to battle, so that we can have his presence right there with us. So that's what they did. They sent some guys back to go back to Shiloh, and they got the ark, and then they brought it back. And then it tells us that Hophni and Phinehas was with them. So Eli's sons come back with this ark, and they go back off into battle. And this time, it's actually worse than the first time. So it tells us that this time, instead of losing 4,000 men, it tells us that they lost 30,000 men. And then now they're defeated and they go back again. They come back to where they are, but not just defeated. So not just the men killed and they were defeated, but the ark was now taken. So the Philistines have now captured the ark. So in that, one of the things that I want us to think about is, have you ever done that? Because when they came back the first time and they had been defeated, instead of asking God what they should have been doing, they decide that they're going to go get the ark and bring it with them, and then that would make things better. So they were attempting to use God as their lucky charm. They had, not asking what God wanted, but they were going to use this sense of religion as their lucky charm for God to come in and be a part of what they were doing, their own selfish motives. So when you think about that, what does that look like in today's world? Is it something along the line of when things aren't going well, we grab our Bible, or, we want to pull God right into it when we need him, but all the other time we want to do things our way? And the reality is, a lot of times when we're pulling him into it, we're still pulling him into helping us do it our way. So some of the things I want us to think about when we meet is, I want us to think about, has God revealed himself to you through his word? This started out by saying that people knew that Samuel was a prophet because God had revealed himself to Samuel through his word. Samuel in turn shared that word, and then in sharing the word, God allowed the things that he told Samuel to come to pass. So people knew that. Then the other thing I want us to think about is, have you ever viewed your relationship with God more like a religious good luck charm instead of being in a relationship with him? And the other thing I want us to think about is, do you ever find yourself fighting against God? Because instead of seeking him to see what it is that he wants for you, you would rather be striving to accomplish your selfish agenda by pulling God along with you. So we'll talk about that when I see you. Thanks, guys.